Okay, what's up, y'all? This is Intergalactic Brew once again. I wanted to let you all know, the Chael Sonnen fans again, know that Chael Sonnen does have a fight coming up. I just found out today, reading MMAJunkie.com, that Chael Sonnen will be returning to the ring very, very soon. Matter of fact, to be specific, he will be returning to the octagon in about a couple of months. And his opponent is probably going to be his toughest opponent to date, for the simple fact that this guy is on a hot streak right now, 3-fight win streak. He's big, he's strong, and he's got some knockout power, man. You know, and I'm not going to even lie to you. You know, I'm concerned for Chael Sonnen in this fight. I really am. I mean, I want to see him win, like, so bad. Just so he can continue to shut all of you naysayers up, number one, and then keep the Anderson Silva fans on their toes too. And this man that I'm talking about, of course y'all know who he is. He's the All-American Stann. I just found out today that at UFC 136, I believe, yeah, UFC 136 in Houston, Texas, yeah, that will be the venue. Chael Sonnen will be facing Stann. Now, when I first saw that, I was thinking to myself, I'm like, this is dangerous. You know, this is going to be probably one of the most dangerous fights of Chael Sonnen's career, because he's fighting a guy, like I just previously stated, number one, is on a 3-fight win streak. Number two, has the power to knock Chael Sonnen out. And then number three, who's very powerful, extremely powerful, you know, and you know, has shown good takedown defense in his recent fights. Now, I know he's facing Chael Sonnen, who is a world-class Greco-Roman national champion wrestler. I understand that. So, there's not too much that I'm concerned about. The only part I'm really concerned about is really the striking aspect. I mean, Chael's hands are great. I think he has very underrated striking, if you want to know my honest opinion. Because if you can outstrike the UFC middleweight champion, who's supposed to be the most lethal striker in the division, and who's also supposed to be, you know, the guy that you're not supposed to stand up with, if he outstruck that man, if he outstruck Anderson Silva 268 times in a fight, dropped him 3 times, okay, then what makes me think that he can't outstrike Stann? Well, the reason why that is that Stann, you know, he has one-punch knockout power. And I know Sonnen has a good chin, as we've seen in the past. You know, Nate Marquardt caught him with a flying knee flush right in the chops, and Chael did not tumble one time. So, I mean, we will definitely see Chael Sonnen's chin get tested in this fight. I mean, there's no doubt about that. Stann, his game plan is going to want and knock Chael Sonnen out. That's what he wants to do. He's going to want to make a statement. You know, he really wants to open the MMA world's eyes super wide and, you know, be the first guy to knock out Chael Sonnen in the UFC because Chael Sonnen's never been knocked out. Now, at the same time, Brian Stann is developing max skills and technique. You know, we saw in the Mike Massingio fight, he submitted Mike Massingio with a triangle choke, which is ironically the one submission hold that Chael Sonnen is vulnerable to. So I don't think Chael will have to worry about Brian Stann submitting him so much as opposed to him wanting to knock him out. Because I think, you know, Brian Stann is confident with the power in his hands that he can lay one good on Sonnen. So I think he'll be aiming for the knockout in this fight. Stann will. But then again, you never know. I mean, you know, he could, you know, watch the Anderson Silva fight and see that, you know, Chael will leave openings for a triangle choke. But who knows? You know, but I'm just assuming right now. I mean, I won't know till the night of the fight, but I'm just assuming now that Stann is going to want to look to knock Chael Sonnen out. And of course, you know, Sonnen is going to want to look to beat Brian Stann up. And I'm sure, you know, somewhere in the back of Chael's mind, he's going to want to look to finish this fight too and make his own personal statement, just to kind of, you know, again, shut all of the critics up that say, you know, oh, he never stopped anybody or he never finished anybody. All he does is just take people down and ground and pound them and try to grind them out. So I think there's a little bit of eagerness in Sonnen that wants to end this fight quickly. You know, maybe as soon as the second round even. You know, I give him that. And I think he has the ability to do it. You know, I just think he needs to, you know, just be patient. You know, I think he needs to let the knockout come to him and not go after it. You know, but if he can't get the knockout, you know, win at any cost. You know, use the wrestling skills. You know, take Stann down, beat him up. You know, use that, you know, relentless pace that he likes to use, and don't give Stann any room to breathe. You know, because to be honest, we really haven't seen Brian Stann's conditioning tested either. Because in his, you know, last 3 fights, you know, they haven't went the distance. So it'll be very fitting to see if Chael Sonnen can test Brian Stann's limits as far as his conditioning is concerned. Because I know Chael's not going to get tired. You know, Chael has great cardiovascular conditioning. You know, he trains very diligently. You know, he takes his training in his conditioning very seriously. So I don't think we won't have to worry about Chael Sonnen getting exhausted. But Brian Stann, on the other hand, that's a different story, because we have not seen that revealed yet in any of his fights. So it's some very interesting bullet points that you can point out here. You know, how will Brian Stann fare if he does go to the 3rd round with Sonnen? How will, you know, Sonnen be able to deal with the striking of Brian Stann? You know, because I mean, Chael's going to be in his face for all of the fight. I mean, you know that. You know, Chael is going to constantly put, you know, relentless physical pressure on Brian Stann, and we'll see how he handles that. You know, and you know, if he can handle the pressure and the fast pace of Chael Sonnen, then more power to him, man. You know, I'm not under. I mean, don't get it wrong. I'm a Chael Sonnen fan, but I like Brian Stann also. And I think Brian Stann has a good chance of beating Chael Sonnen. I do. I'll say it. You know, I'm not so caught up, you know, in Chael Sonnen that I don't think he can lose. I mean, of course he can lose. This is MMA. You know, the most unpredictable sport in the world. So, Of course, Sonnen, could get caught with a punch. Of course he could, but so could Brian Stann. You know, and if Brian Stann can beat Chael Sonnen, I mean, hey, that's a big feather in his cap, as they say, and that'll be a huge recognition for him to beat a guy, who was a challenger for Anderson Silva's middleweight championship. So there you go. But I believe Chael can beat Brian Stann though. At the same time, I believe that Chael Sonnen, has the skills to beat Stann. I think if he just goes out there and just fights how he normally fights, be relentless, fight at a fast pace, take Stann down repeatedly in the fight, ground and pound him, elbow him, test his limits, test his conditioning, and try and end the fight as quick as possible. So I believe that Chael can do it, but at the same time, like I said, this will probably be his most dangerous fight to date. Because I think with the difference with him and Nate Marquardt is that Nate Marquardt is very tentative, and Nate Marquardt is not that good off his back. Not good enough to the point where if somebody took him down, or I should say, he's not that dangerous to where nobody wouldn't want to take him down. That's what I'm saying. But Brian Stann, I don't think he's that dangerous off of his back either, because you have to remember, he was fighting, sorry to say, but a lower level opponent in Mike Massenzio. Mike Massenzio wasn't a top 10 contender or, even a top prospect. He was just kind of those, medium, middle class guys, pretty much. So, you would expect Brian Stann to beat somebody like that. But this will be a real challenge for Brian Stann because he's actually facing a real top contender in Chael Sonnen. So we'll see if he's able to handle the expectations of taking on a world-class competitor. But I'm gonna stand behind Chael. I'm gonna believe in him. I know he's had a long layoff, and that's another thing that I'm concerned with. But like I said, if you really think about it, it hasn't been that long. It's not like he's Vitor Belfort and hasn't fought in about a whole year. He just his last fight was 4, 5, 7 months ago. So it's not that long, but still, it is a long layoff. So we'll see how Chael adapts to that, if he really has ring rust or not. I'm hoping he doesn't, but if he does, I just pray and hope that he makes the best with what he has, and still is able to come out on the winning end. But I don't know. It's going to be an awesome fight. I think it's an awesome main event. We're really going to see, where the landscape of the middleweight division lies after this fight is over with. And, I think the guy, whoever it is that wins this fight, should definitely be in line, for a title shot. Whether that be Chael Sonnen again or whether that be Brian Stann. So we'll see. But it's going to be an awesome fight, though. I believe it. I believe it's going to be an awesome fight. Hopefully it doesn't end early with Chael Sonnen, flat on the mat. Hopefully, we do get to really see each other's skills. But then again, you can't control what happens in the fight. The only thing you can do is watch. So, I'm just going to sit back and watch and hope Chael Sonnen comes out on the winning end. But, then again, if Brian Stann wins, no surprise either. So, you guys look out for that fight and go Chael.